Ivan Radywonik is the president of AUSOM. That is the Apple User Society of Melbourne, which this year celebrates a stunning 40-year anniversary. I just beat them by 1 year. My first computer was in 1979. But hey, that's one of the longest running user groups in Australia. And Ivan will tell us how the AUSOM Club has gone from surviving to thriving online. And I'm looking forward to seeing this presentation. And I'm sure many of us as part of clubs are as well. So please take it away, Ivan.
Thank you, Alex. Just renaming myself. Thank you for the introduction. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can, Ivan. Sound great.
Thank you. And good morning, everybody. And thank you for inviting me to this online conference, Living Your Best Online Life. Please don't be alarmed if you see parts of me disappearing here and there. I've got a virtual background because I want to show off the beauty of Melbourne here for you, especially for you Sydney-siders. So my name is Ivan Radywonik. I'm a life member and current president of AUSOM Inc. And I'm sure you'd like me to share my screen as well, so I'll do that. Okay, so you can see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, and it's off and running. Well, it's off and running before me. Okay, so AUSOM is an acronym for the Apple User Society of Melbourne, a computer user group that began in 1980, that is 40 years ago, and was incorporated in 1985. In fact, we were intending to celebrate our 40th anniversary back in April of this year. But of course, the first lockdown in Victoria was announced in late March. No more physical meetings until further notice. So was this the midlife crisis AUSOM had to have? Did it warrant the purchase of a classic red sports car? AUSOM's first meetings were held in a hall in suburban Glen Iris before switching to the nearby garage of a member who still participates to this day. And those meetings quickly evolved into what came to be known as our main meeting. Held on the first Saturday of each month, it is an all-day conglomeration of presentations and discussions based on specific interests we call SIGs, or special interest groups. Over the years at the main meetings, we have run as many as 5 or 6 hourly sessions simultaneously, as well as the main presentation that would often feature someone from the industry or one of our own talented speakers. Sometime in the late 90s, we added a monthly weekday meeting called Retirees and Others that runs 2 one-hour morning sessions, followed by a monthly evening meeting in Mornington, about an hour's drive south of Melbourne. For about a decade, we also ran a monthly meeting out of Melbourne PC headquarters in Moorabbin. So when the first lockdown came into effect in late March, we were running 3 separate monthly meetings, offering some 20 hours of presentations and discussion across the 3 meetings each month, except January. January is our month of rest. The idea of meeting online had been discussed at various times within AUSOM, but several factors kept us from adopting it. Although, as it happens, committee began trials with the Zoom platform late last year. We were well aware of other user groups around the world whose performance and popularity appeared to decline with the move to online meetings. Besides, our members had been well catered for with regular face-to-face meetings and a monthly 48-page newsletter. Our magazine, AUSOM News, is delivered as a full-colour PDF to all members as part of their yearly membership subscription. Not only that, but for an extra fee, we also provide the magazine as a 2-tone hard copy, delivered via Australia Post, eventually. And for more than 20 years, we have provided an online bulletin board service called First Class, again for an extra fee. First Class is especially popular with long-term members, many of whom don't get to face-to-face meetings. I'll wrap up this introductory preamble with a direct quote from an instalment of our committee news, a paragraph lifted out of the February 2020 edition of AUSOM News. And I quote, "What a year we are looking forward to, our 40th anniversary. It really does say an enormous amount about our membership and personnel to have lasted so long. Most clubs or societies similar to ours now only hold, in quotes, online meetings. We often remark that it is the chance that AUSOM provides for friendly SIG sessions and especially the social interaction in the cafe that differentiates our club from others," end quote. 2 months later, our penchant for physically friendly meetings was thwarted with the first Melbourne lockdown. At that time, in late March, I was not a member of committee, but as the office contact person and a volunteer in various other roles, I communicated with committee members on a regular basis. Committee had been trialling Zoom with 1 or 2 SIGs, but I was not directly involved. In fact, the only experience I'd had, even remotely concerning Zoom, was to edit meetings for clients, videos for clients, earning my bread and butter as a freelance video and podcast editor. With the lockdown imminent, we needed to prepare an online timetable, but our original proposal was based on using free Zoom accounts with all its limitations. As we all now know, and one of the first things I discovered, a free account limits you to 40 minutes if there's more than 2 participants. So this proposal reduced our 1-hour slots to 40 minutes, and the resultant timetable looked messy. More importantly, not only would members have to log out and back in to attend consecutive sessions, but we would need to host totally separate meetings in order to run concurrent sessions. This simply wouldn't do. I proceeded headfirst, literally, into a crash course on Zoom by exploring their support pages and FAQs and various YouTube videos. I soon came to appreciate how sophisticated the Zoom software is and how well suited for AUSOM's purposes. The shared screens, the different views, non-verbal gestures, and with our upcoming AGM in May, the ability to run anonymous polls or simply take yes/no votes. But the key feature that won me over was the breakout rooms. This would enable us to run concurrent sessions all day, all within one meeting. By now, I was becoming aware of a growing sense that this was a pivotal moment in AUSOM's odyssey, and that time was of the essence. I knew that our president of 3 years was not standing in May, and that my best bet was to ensure a successful transition to online meetings, was to announce my intent to nominate as president of AUSOM. I wasted no time adjusting to the role, even though the AGM itself wasn't for another 5 weeks. My first task was to recreate our existing meetings timetable as closely as possible, if only to minimise any exasperation members might experience from the online shift. On your screen, you can see the March 2020 timetable, which was our last physical meeting a week before the lockdown. As you can see, we have 4 sessions each hour for the first and last 2 hours of the day, with the main presentation at 11 a.m, our news at noon, then an hour for lunch. We had barely 2 weeks to prepare for an online version of our April meeting, and our 40th birthday plans clearly had to be put on hold. We bought our first Zoom license on March 29, 6 days before our April meeting, And by that time, I had prepared a timetable for a trial main meeting. The Zoom link for this trial meeting was sent 3 days later. The invite list was restricted to SIG leaders, committee, and several other long-term members, as it was very much a trial, and we wanted only our most experienced members involved in a relatively informal and uncrowded setting. As you can see, this timetable has a very similar structure to the one we just saw. 4 sessions per hour were cut down to 3 to allow for easier management of the rooms. An extra hour added at the end of the day to accommodate all the SIGs, and a reduction of the lunch period, so we only finished a half hour later than usual at the end of the day. At such short notice, we did not expect every SIG to participate, although most did. 2 SIG leaders were organising their own Zoom sessions, but decided to come on board to join the trial. This was particularly fortuitous, as both SIGs had always been quite popular. The meeting was a runaway success. The novelty and challenge of the online environment appeared to reignite the pioneering spirit that helped make AUSOM what it is today. The challenge for me as host of the trial meeting was having to send each participant to their preferred room and often reassign them between sessions. Only recently did Zoom enable participants to move about breakout rooms without any assistance from the host. Following the success of our trial meeting, I decided to set up Zoom training sessions to provide members the opportunity to learn how to use Zoom effectively. These were initially held twice a week, with an afternoon and evening option to choose from on each day. The training sessions continue to this day, once a week on Wednesday afternoons. The training sessions proved invaluable, not only to assist novices to Zoom, but also for our SIG leaders and committee to master its intricacies and become very proficient with its operation. For example, it was during these training sessions that we discovered that bestowing co-host status on our desktop users allowed them to move from one breakout room to another, once they were assigned to any breakout room in particular, without assistance from the host. This workaround saved the host significant time and effort over the coming months. That was me most of the time, before the version 5.3 Zoom update enabled breakout rooms access to all users with a simple tick of the checkbox when opening the rooms. The training also enabled us to use breakout rooms to split up into smaller rooms, smaller groups, to focus on different aspects of using Zoom. For example, mobile versus desktop users, or running sessions on other aspects of computing, such as troubleshooting technical issues. In May, we held our AGM, our first proper online meeting, and dare I say, our highest attendance figures since my first time around as president in 2012-2013. To ease the load on volunteers and participants alike, we dispensed with the morning sessions to allow ample time for our members to arrive and settle in. During April, committee met several times to review procedures, and so we were well prepared. We went into the AGM with a full ticket for committee position, so the AGM ran very smoothly indeed. The feedback we had following the AGM was very positive, that the way they were able, due to health issues, the online option, participation at our AGM. Hot on the heels of our successful AGM, we ran our 2 satellite meetings, the retirees and others, and the Mornington group. Again, both sessions ran smoothly, although the Mornington host managed to inadvertently close the breakout rooms while exploring the Zoom interface during the meeting. Since then, Two of our main meeting SIGs have established weekly online meetings on top of their regular monthly sessions. And of course, all our committee meetings are also held online and will continue to do so. Before the first lockdown, the previous committee was in the process of establishing a task force to look into the challenges facing AUSOM over the coming years and report on its findings. That subcommittee was readily organised as an online group and delivered its report within weeks of its first meeting. That kind of speed in the physical world, given the task force was composed of volunteers with busy lives, is arguably not doable. Based on the findings of this subcommittee, we established a membership retention and recruitment group, which has already conducted a survey of members based on results from minor phone sampling and is about to publish a full report. The survey indicated that members are keen on face-to-face and online meetings, with the latter only slightly less favoured. Comments left by survey respondents were also largely positive on our handling of the situation overall. Another area the task force singled out for attention was our website. And so we set up a website makeover group, which is working on redeveloping our website. Finally, another recommendation of the task force is to develop a relationship with U3A, the University of the Third Age. To help boost our membership, we are about to set up another group for that function. All of this would be difficult and slow to work through were it not for video conferencing and collaborating online. These online meetings can be organised very quickly and easily. It's relatively convenient to change meeting times as needed, and we are able to draw on the skills and talents of different members for each group, limiting the fatigue that creeps in when the same people volunteer regularly. So to summarise the key points that I believe were pivotal in our successful transition, I point to the following takeaways. The relatively short period of time that we took to make the switch to online meetings. First, the April trial, then the AGM, and then full steam ahead from there. The move online had minimal impact on the format of our timetables. Our members were offered ample opportunities to learn about Zoom through the Zoom training, and we kept our members informed via regular email updates, the magazine, our website, and within the meetings themselves. Our members were mostly very supportive, the committee united, and SIG leaders enthusiastic. Going forward, our challenge, apart from maintaining or increasing our membership, will be to find ways to combine the online format with face-to-face meetings, or agree to adopt online meetings as our primary focus and explore alternative avenues for social interaction, such as a monthly long lunch with light entertainment. But the genie is out of the bottle. There is no going back to face-to-face meetings as our primary format, if only because our membership base is expanding to include international members already. I'm confident AUSOM can meet just about any challenge because our members remain passionate about sharing their expertise, and our membership consists of very talented people with a broad range of skills and deep insights into the workings of technology. I'd like to thank that membership base for their ongoing support, especially our dedicated SIG leaders and hard-working committee. As I stated earlier, our 40th birthday celebration was put on hold as we monitored Melbourne's seemingly eternal lockdown. Like so many events this year, we will celebrate our 40th birthday online and in just over 3 weeks' time at our December 5th main meeting. And you're all invited. To receive your invite link, please contact me via the details on your screen. And I seem to have messed that up. yes, there's the details on the screen for you to contact me if you'd like to receive an invite link to our 40th celebrations in December. Thank you so much for your time and attention, and I'm happy to take questions for the next 9 or 10 minutes.
Thanks, Ivan. And thank you. I highly recommend people take Ivan up on his opportunity. He had me as a guest. He's had a couple of us as a guest over the last couple of months at their Saturday morning sessions. Ivan, we have a question from Nick, and Nick was wondering, is there anything that for Zoom users, any hints and tips about setting it up securely and any differences you've noticed? And I know you and I talked about this actually on Saturday for non-Apple users. So what were some of the learnings you had there? Okay,
I really can't speak about the differences for non-Apple users because we are the Apple User Society of Melbourne. And although we have some Windows users, just about everybody at our meetings were using Apple devices. But in terms of security, the key thing to do, and this was, I know that there was a lot of talk about Zoom security when it took off earlier this year. But the main problem was that people did not set up waiting rooms, for one. It's essential for a meeting like this. Well, not so much a webinar. I'm not sure exactly how webinars work, but for the meetings that we have, it's essential to have a waiting room so that you can see who's coming in. Mind you, people don't necessarily have their full names, or they may be using their partner's device or that kind of thing. People can have some strange names coming in, but mostly you can see who's coming in and whether you should let them in or not. And if you're not sure, well, you can not let them in. So they can't Zoom bomb as people did in the early days. You would get a whole bunch of people just coming into the room and you couldn't control that, you know. So that's important. And the other security settings, offhand, it's been so long since I set it all up. That's certainly the main thing. Yes.
And another question from Jenny Hapgood was, how many members does AUSOM have? And I think it might be, I think you've hinted before that there's been a change over this last 6 months for you as well, in terms of.
Yes, look, our membership has been as high, but I'm not sure what officially our membership was, some, I don't know, maybe 1,500 back in the 90s. And it had been declining steadily since those days, you know, through the 2000s, and currently stands at around 300 paying members. It's just under 300, and we have other members such as myself, you know, who are life members or they're in the business and they've been, you know, allocated a membership. So around 300 members at the moment. And yes, it has stabilised. This moving the meetings online has helped stabilise our membership. Some members left, but then some members returned, and we've accepted more new members than we normally would over the period, you know, the last sort of 6 months. Yeah. So, and now what we need to do is promote ourselves to gain more members. Yes.
And Ivan, are you taking members from, you know, other states such as sunny Queensland? And you said you had an international member as well?
Yes. Yeah, we have.
So now not just the users of Melbourne, but users of all the world?
That's right. Well, we started 40 years ago, and it was it started in a hall in Melbourne, and we were proudly the Apple User Society of Melbourne. And back then, you would not have envisaged that, you know, what would happen with the internet, and you know what you can do there. And even in recent years, we didn't really look at doing that because our members really valued the face-to-face environment. But with the changes now, we have to change. And yes, we are happy to accept members from anywhere. And this is another reason why we need to stick with the online format, because we expect to take on members from beyond Melbourne, Victoria, and even Australia. And we need to cater to that membership base, absolutely. So please, if you're interested in becoming a member, if this has piqued your interest, and I know there's a lot of people out there who might be Windows users but have an iPhone or iPad and they want to learn more about it, please do drop in December. Contact me via the email address that you saw on the screen earlier. Look us up on our website, which is AUSOM, AUSOM, Apple User Society of Melbourne, .net.au. Thank you.
Ivan, that was fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing and sharing your experience. I think to our large number of club members that are in the audience, that's going to be a lot of helpful information. And to those that aren't in clubs, this is a perfect time to find a club near you or join AUSOM. We have no favourite clubs as part of ASCA, but thank you so much, Ivan, for your time today.
It was my pleasure. Thank you, Sam.
Now, I am sharing a poll just to find out just how many people are part of a seniors club. Maybe put your votes in there, but look forward to seeing you on another Saturday session, Ivan. Thanks so much.
You're welcome, Sam. Yes, look forward to that. Thank you.